Oh, Mr. President, you wanted to see me. How fantastic. How are you?
Mr. Trump, doing okay. But I'm not really a big fan of what you're doing in Iraq.
What do you mean? We got the leading terrorist killed. He's dead.
Well, actually, he was actually the second in command for the Iranian government.
Yeah? So what? He still tried to kill millions of Americans.
Yes, Donald, I understand that. But I think what you should have done, okay? Now hear me out. What you should have done is you should have gotten a pallet full of money.
A pallet full of money.
Yes, a pallet full of money. Put it on an airplane and send it to Iran.
Oh, just like you did with the terrible, horrible, miserable, awful Iran nuclear deal?
Yes. But at least our embassy didn't get bombed.
Yes, exactly. Your embassy got bombed in Benghazi, and you did a terrible job of managing it. Mine was fantastic. We got military there real quick. It was absolutely fantastic.
Mr. Trump, I'm just warning you that this could lead to World War III.
Yeah, I'm really scared of a little nation against the most powerful nation in the world. If they want to bother us, then we will just have to turn them into a parking lot, okay, frankly? That's what we will do if they attack us again.
Okay, Mr. President, good luck. And if you need more pallets of money to go to Iran, then just call me up, okay?
Get out of here. Get out of here, you dummy. My goodness. This is a crazy world that we live in.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Kyle Dockery with the Dockery Docket. We are here for the very 8th episode of the Dockery Docket. How exciting! It's our first episode of the new year. It's 2020, everyone. How excited are you for 2020? Leave a comment down below if you're excited for 2020. Well, I'm personally very excited for 2020, and 2020 has definitely started off with a bang. And I mean that in every sense of the word, of a bang. Because the United States Embassy in Iraq was attacked by militiamen. These were all men. If you look at any picture of this attack, I will make sure to put some pictures with our new video editing software. You can see that these are all men who are attacking our embassy. There's no women, there's no children. They're just attacking and they're breaking down our border walls and the embassy, trying to get in, trying to kill Americans. That is their main goal. They're looking for American blood, which isn't really a good thing. I don't really support that 100%. So, according to the New York Times, protesters broke into the heavily guarded compound of the United States Embassy in Baghdad on Tuesday and set fires inside in anger over the American airstrikes that killed 24 members of an Iranian-backed militia over the weekend. Now, these 24 men that were killed of the militia were known as terrorists. And this is a big word for today's episode. Terrorist. Someone who causes fear, pain, and strife, and also tries to kill Americans. And usually, we don't like terrorists. Americans don't like terrorists. Nobody likes terrorists. And so, when we see a terrorist, we destroy them. We kill them. We make them go into a billion pieces. And that's exactly what we did here with this 24 members that were shot and killed. The Iranians were not happy, so they attacked the embassy in Iraq because Iran is very close to Iraq, so there was like a coordinated plan to sort of go into Iraq. So the men did not enter the main embassy building and later withdrew from the compound, joining thousands of protesters and militia fighters outside chanting "Death to America," throwing rocks, covering the walls with graffiti, and demanding that the United States withdraw its forces from Iraq. So these seem like very nice people. These seem like people that you would, have a cup of coffee with on the weekends. These seem like people that are very, very friendly. You know, chanting death to America, throwing rocks, destroying property, lighting things on fire. Nice people. So instantly, right when this was happening, I was looking on Twitter and all this stuff, and everyone was saying, oh my goodness, this is Trump's Benghazi. Trump's Benghazi. Trump's Benghazi. Yada, yada, yada. Over and over and over again. This is just like Benghazi. Well, let me tell you something. This is not at all like Benghazi. If you remember Benghazi, you know that this isn't like Benghazi. As with Benghazi, 4 Americans were killed, and that was a very, very tragic moment. And 4 Americans were killed because the United States government didn't send any help for them. You know, there's a lot of rumors saying that Hillary Clinton, who was the Secretary of State at the time, was asleep while these men were trying to defend off protesters, and there's a lot of different controversies regarding that, and ultimately it led to the embassy being destroyed by these terrorists. For this situation in Baghdad, there were 0 American deaths, and the Pentagon sent in military help authorized by the president. They sent in 750 paratroopers just to make sure that everything was calmed down. By the time they got there, everything was probably settled because there are people already inside the embassy who are military personnel, and they have tear gas and they have other things to make sure that they don't get inside the main embassy. I'm just personally glad that this could have been like a Benghazi style attack, but because of Trump's leadership, also the Pentagon realizing that this is a very serious situation, then they were able to sort of calm the situation, get the people out, and protect the ambassadors and the American citizens that were inside. So that's just a really brief clarification on how this is not Trump's Benghazi, because the two are very different. They're polar opposites of what happened. So Iran has not been our friend for a very long time. They have been sort of poking us with a stick, wanting us to do something. You know, they've been tapping us on the shoulder. It's almost like a sibling putting their finger on you, and then once you look, you move your finger, and they say, I'm not touching you. And then they put the finger back on you, and then you move it again and say, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. And they keep doing that over and over and over again. They keep poking us, and soon America's going to be like, stop, that's enough out of you, knock it off. And so this is what has been happening, as there have been multiple pokes with the stick that Iran has done. They sabotaged 6 oil tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, which this could have led to oil prices rising. Iran also shot down a U.S. drone, which no one was killed, but still, they're saying, hey, we got your drone, haha, we got you, come get us, come and get us, poke, 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 poke. And they've done other things like sponsor terrorism, give money to terrorist organizations like Hezbollah, and other things like that. And with all of these things, Trump and America didn't respond at all to these accusations. And we can tell that this was the very last straw for Trump. The embassy attack was the last straw for Trump. This is when you're with a sibling and you go tell mom that they keep bothering you and they keep poking at you. So Trump wrote on Twitter,
Iran will be held fully responsible for lives lost or damaged incurred at any of our facilities. They will pay a very big price. This is not a warning. It is a threat. Happy New Year.
I just love it that he said Happy New Year at the end. Like, we're gonna go kill your terrorists. Happy New Year. And stuff like that. Also, another important part of that tweet was they will pay a very big price. And Iran did pay a price, as Trump, along with the Pentagon, ordered the military to strike and kill Qasem Soleimani. I'll call him Soleimani. His name is hard to pronounce, but it'll be on the screen. I'm calling him Soleimani. You might hear it pronounced another way. So, I mean, whatever floats your boat, you can call him whatever you want. So he was assumed to be the second in command in Iran. So he was a very high-ranking official. He had all the stars, and he was a fantastic leader, apparently, for Iran. even though he was a sponsor of terrorism and he did other terrorist activities, he was killed in Iraq, which is interesting to say that he was killed in Iraq because he's from Iran. So the question is, why was he in Iraq in the first place? He was probably planning on more terrorist attacks being done on American citizens and embassies and stuff like that. So he was blamed for hundreds of deaths of Americans and their allies in several attacks in recent months. Along with this, the Pentagon blamed Soleimani and his Quds force for attacks on coalition bases in Iraq in recent months, including December 25th strike that accumulated in the deaths of an American contractor and Iraqi personnel. He was also blamed for the December 31st U.S. Embassy attack in Baghdad, and in addition to the hundreds killed in his time as a commander, thousands more were wounded, the Pentagon said. So this guy was bad news, according to the Pentagon and according to other sources. So he was a terrorist, and he was killed. And usually when we kill terrorists, it's usually a good thing. Usually the United States is happy about terrorists dying. When you kill a terrorist, it makes the world a safer place. I feel like that should be on a t-shirt. Going back to the very first episode of the Dockery Docket, we talked about al-Baghdadi. Do we remember al-Baghdadi? He was the one who was killed by Conan the dog. Remember, Conan ran after him, and he jumped on him, and he bit him, and used a suicide vest. And he killed himself with the suicide vest. And the dog was injured. Do we remember this story? Blah, blah, blah. So the media was like, hooray, we killed this terrorist. That's amazing. Good job. He was an ISIS leader, and we killed him. Now America will be safer, because he might have been planning an attack on American mainland. He might be attacking another attack on us sometime soon. This is great. Good job. Good job, Trump. Good job, America. Good job, military. We're so happy for you. Good job, good job, good job. But this isn't what happened with Soleimani, as the killing of this terrorist and general was met with backlash, as many people think that we are now entering into World War III. Oh no, we killed a general who was sponsored of terrorism and killed hundreds of Americans. This will lead to World War III. Okay, let me explain to you why World War III won't happen. Basically, America is surrounding Iran right now. So if Iran does anything to hurt us, they will more than likely be destroyed, okay? I personally don't believe that they will attack the United States mainland. Now, I have to say, before I continue, that this episode was filmed on Saturday, will be released on Tuesday, so anything can happen. So this might all be not true. But I do think that Iran will try and attack one of our embassies, but at the same time, Trump has given the embassies more people. We've sent more troops over to help make sure that that doesn't happen and to prevent different things from happening, like another attack. Also, if Iran were to, bomb us, or if they were to attack the mainland on Thursday, they would be gone by Friday. The complete country would turn into a parking lot, as America would not be okay with that, and it would be completely blown off the map. And Iran knows this. And along with that, the U.S. doesn't want another war. Donald Trump has said that multiple times. That's why Donald Trump got out of Syria, because he doesn't want useless wars. And today, and Trump has said, the killing of this general prevented more war from happening. And that makes sense, because if you have a general of Iran who's continually trying to poke at the United States, as we talked about at the very beginning, he keeps on antagonizing us. Now he's gone. Now he's dead. So that should limit the terrorist attacks that are happening. I don't want a war with Iran. The United States doesn't want a war with Iran. Also, if we're talking about World War III, who's going to defend Iran? This little tiny country. Who is going to defend them? Because usually in world wars, there's another country behind them. We'll use Korea as an example. If South Korea gets bombed by North Korea, the United States has to go and help them. That's in our treaty. There's nothing with Iran that says that. There's nothing with Iran that says, if the Americans strike and kill one of our generals, then Russia, you need to help us. There's none of that. So Iran is basically alone on this little island, and they know that if they do anything, they're going to be gone. They know that America has a lot of firepower. We have the best military in the world. all this stuff. So everyone being concerned about World War III, the memes are very funny. The memes are hilarious. I love the memes. But World War III won't happen, okay? I know all of you are disappointed. All of you are so sad. But I don't believe that it will happen. I think it's dumb to think that World War III is going to happen. And I don't think that killing of this terrorist general is going to cause major war. We have killed many terrorists before in the Middle East, and it has not led to different situations like that. But Democrats have jumped on this train of Trump escalated this whole situation. This is a terrible situation. How are we ever going to survive? This will lead to another war. Yada, yada, yada. And it's interesting because every single Democrat who wrote about this situation in Iran started out their speech with, of course this guy's a bad guy, but he didn't have to die. Let's look at Elizabeth Warren's tweet as an example. She said that Soleimani was a murderer responsible for the deaths of thousands, including hundreds of Americans. So that's good. I agree with that. He was a very ruthless killer. Terrible guy. Should be dead. Fantastic. But the reckless move escalates the situation with Iran and increases the likelihood of more deaths and new Middle Eastern conflict. Our priority must be to avoid another costly war. I agree. We need to avoid a costly war. That's why we killed the guy, was to avoid a costly war. And we escalated the situation? I think they escalated the situation by attacking our embassy, by killing our people, and trying to kill more Americans and kill more of our allies and stuff like that. And this whole idea that the United States escalated the situation was also pushed by Bernie Sanders, our favorite socialist Democratic candidate, even though he's not a real Democrat. He's a left-wing loony nut job. So he said, Trump's dangerous escalation brings us closer to another disastrous war in the Middle East that could cost countless lives and trillions of more dollars. Trump promised to end endless wars, but this action puts us on a path to another one. Yes, because Iran was being so peaceful before we attacked them. We escalated the situation, even though they were the ones who destroyed our drones. They were the ones who attacked our embassy, set fires into our embassy. We're the ones who caused all this pain and conflict. That's not a full Bernie quote. The last part was my quote, responding to the Bernie quote, because it's just so dumb. It's so ridiculous. We're supposed to be happy when terrorists die, and the world is a safer place when there's not more terrorists around. And these Democrats should not be mourning the death of this man. And it is very interesting that every single one of their comments start out with, this man was a terrible person. I'll add more tweets and comments at this part of the video because it is very important. And you can pause the video at any time and read them. But all of them start out with, this person was a terrible person. This person was a terrible, evil killer. So anyway, the only thing that is really concerning right now, and it's concerning to the United States, and it is concerning to our national interest, is that more than likely Iran will retaliate against the United States. So to prevent this from happening, Trump has sent in more military personnel to make sure that everything is safe, everything is taken care of, which is very good. And we also need to realize that America has the strongest military. Don't forget about that. And if they tried to do anything, if they tried to attack the mainland on Thursday, they will be destroyed by Friday. I feel like I've already said that, but it is a very important point that Iran can't do anything. It's not like we killed Russia's second in command. If we would have killed Russia's second in command, then I would understand the World War III memes. But because it's just Iran, there's no reason to be freaking out over this and stuff like that. We are just very lucky as Americans that Donald Trump got out of the Iran nuclear deal. Because what the Iran nuclear deal did was it sent money to Iran. Do we remember the pallets of cash that were sent to Iran from the Obama administration? This money was used to funnel terrorism. And so if we go and we imagine we funnel money to Iran, then they'll just sponsor more terrorism, killing more people, and it will make them stronger. So luckily we got rid of the Iran nuclear deal. Iran still doesn't have a nuclear weapon, and they don't have a lot of money because we have sanctioned them multiple different times. So I'm not worried, and you shouldn't be worried either. And usually, we have a good track record. The Dockery Docket has a good track record of predicting the future. We've predicted the future multiple times on this podcast. So hopefully my predictions are right. Once again, I will say that this was recorded on Saturday and it is released on Tuesday. So anything can happen. There could be something going on right now, and here I am in the studio not knowing what is happening outside. And hopefully by next week the world will be a safer place and everyone will be happy. Okay? So let's go to the Babylon Bee article of the week, which is called Democrats Call for Flags to be Flown at Half-Mast to Grieve Death of Soleimani. So this is going straight back to what we have just talked about with the killing of this terrorist, General Soleimani. At a press conference held on Capitol Hill Friday, morning Democratic leaders called for flags to be flown half-mast to honor the death of Qasem Soleimani. Flags were spotted flying at half-mast around the country, notably at the Washington Post, the New York Times, and in the front of several celebrities' homes. The celebrities went out and bought an American flag for the first time, just to fly it at half-mast for this important time of grief. The grieving process is painful but necessary, said Representative Ilhan Omar. As a nation, we need to stop and grieve this great, austere, revered religious scholar. He was one of the good ones. In a rare moment of unity with the squad, Pelosi gave each of the girls a hug, telling them to just let it all out in their time of sadness. Ocasio-Cortez didn't seem to know what was happening, but adjusted her glasses to look smart. A teary-eyed Barack Obama was also seen solemnly lowering the flag in front of his seaside mansion. To think this all could have been prevented with a few pallets of cash. He sighed and stared off into the distance, a look of pain and regret on his face. If only Trump had targeted a U.S. citizen with a drone strike instead. Later, Democrats clarified they meant we should fly the Iranian flag at half-mast, not the offensive, problematic American flag. So that was the Babylon Bee article of the week. I hope that you enjoy that. And I will see you next Tuesday at noonish. Just like my mom always says, be good, be kind, be loving. Goodbye.